Hello, everybody. Excuse me. Welcome to the Straight Talk for the Soul series, your vibrational multivitamin for the body, mind, and spirit. I'm Carrie Murphy, your host, creator, and founder of this global broadcast and brilliant community of light. I want to extend a bright and beautiful good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you tuning in from around the world. Welcome home, everybody. This is a sacred space for you to connect, to open your heart, to get empowered, to reignite your vitality and wellness. And that's certainly our intention today. So what is the best that could happen? That is my favorite question. Well, today, vibrational geneticist JEILENE TRACEY joins me to discuss cultivating resilience in our changing times. So intend for a shift today, a shift into wellness, into vitality, as I mentioned, as we come together in this collective portal of energy. I am dedicated and devoted to walking hand in hand and heart to heart with all of you as we rediscover our divinity, experience a renewal of our radiance. So rest assured that you being here right now means that you are ready to experience the freedom, the liberation that is your birthright. And this community is a cosmic playground to facilitate your freedom and your spiritual sovereignty. So trust and know that brilliant, bountiful blessings are on their way to you. Just relax and breathe and open and receive today. For those of you who haven't subscribed yet to this show, I encourage you to do so. It's a free platform that you can access at straighttalkforthesoul.com. You can also listen to all of our replays, including today's, on iTunes and YouTube, and connect with us further in our private Facebook group or on Instagram. Just enter in Straight Talk for the Soul or Straight Talk with Carrie on Instagram. And today I have to always mention that my intention is for love and grace and healing energy to flow through my voice in this sacred energetic space with grace and ease, welcoming and inviting in the highest divine support and participation for harmony and clarity and empowerment to be realized by all of us in beautiful new ways. Throughout our time together today, know that you can write in and let us know how you're feeling in our webcast, and I'll be checking in on that as we go. According to JEILENE, we are living, and I am so in agreement, through a time of unprecedented change and transformation on many levels on our planet. Energetically, this means that new and highly variable electromagnetic signals are being emitted and received by the Earth. These EM energies affect all of life on our planet. They impact our evolution as a species. And although these energies can be experienced as expansive and they can accelerate awakening, they can also be hard on our nervous system when the brain is not attuned to them. This can cause a variety of health issues such as inflammation, low immune function, chronic fatigue, mental dysfunction, and digestive disorders. And a lot of those things are becoming quite common, and I know that in hearing from many of you on a daily basis. So how can we enable our physical bodies to transition through this time with grace and ease while experiencing the benefit of these expansive energies? Well, we're going to talk about that with JEILENE. On the show today, you'll experience and also learn how to interpret, interact with, and thrive in today's electromagnetic environment. You'll upgrade your brain's ability to interpret and understand the current EM signals automatically to increase neuroplasticity for vitality, longevity, and well-being. You'll discover how the use of toning and sound can initiate healing in the physical, emotional, and spiritual bodies. You'll re-engage your relationship with the earth to bring balance and harmony into your life. And you'll also experience a multidimensional sound transmission channeled by JEILENE later on in the show. Let me tell you just a little bit more about her, and then we'll dive in. JEILENE TRACEY is a vibrational geneticist who channels sound vibrations to create shifts in the energetic, emotional, and physical elements of the body. Working with multidimensional light beings, she harmonizes the physical DNA to its crystalline counterpart. She developed the vibrational genetics modality, which we'll talk with her about today, And her interest in science and DNA began at an early age. And through her work with the mantis and other extra-dimensional beings, she has awakened her deep connection to the earth and its healing power. She has learned how to channel the song of the earth logos to bring healing, guidance, and DNA realignment to a higher resonance. She received her degree in biology from Smith College with an emphasis on molecular biology, and she spent 15 years in the biotech industry. She worked for cutting-edge startups that focus on revolutionizing healthcare. But then at the age of 39, she began her awakening journey, and that began a multi-year discovery process that led to a complete shift in all areas of her life. She's an amazing woman, and I can't wait to introduce her to all of you. So please join me in extending waves and waves of love and light and appreciation to beautiful JEILENE as I welcome her to the show. So welcome, my friend. I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I really appreciate it. So wonderful to be here. I'm really excited to connect with you and your audience. It's wonderful.
I love your energy, and I know we have so much to talk about. As we were discussing briefly, there's a lot of just accelerated energy, accelerated times ahead, so it's really important that we talk about a lot of this. Before we dive in, though, we have to know a little bit more about you personally, since it's your first time here. I just mentioned you used to work in the biotech field, and then everything kind of shifted for you. Talk a little bit about that transition, just so we get to know you better.
Sure. As you mentioned, at around the age of 39, I was still in biotech, and I happened to run into a friend who was a psychic medium who I'd grown up with. After having a couple sessions with her, she really just cracked open my idea of what was possible, because she really just seemed like me, right? I'd grown up with her, and she seemed so ordinary, but she was so extraordinary. That was the thing, the information she gave me, her psychic ability. I thought, my God, how did she do that? And so at the end of the session, when she told me that I had a natural affinity to that type of work as well, she really kind of blew my mind and cracked that door open for me. And so I immediately began studying psychic development and energy healing and all kinds of different modalities. And went, like you said, I went on this multi-year journey. Really the impetus behind it was my curiosity, but that was sort of what was on the surface. But what was really down deep was that I truly was and always had been an empath, but had really shut that side of myself down through a difficult environment that I grew up in as a child that was really just too intense for such a sense of empath. And so I shut my heart down. I shut my emotions down. I built really firm, sturdy walls around my heart and had really lived like that for most of my life. Even, those things opened up a bit as I had children and was married, but still, I was still very numb in many ways. And it was when I was studying all these different energy modalities and trying to connect to source and to higher beings that I would struggle, and I would really bang my head against the wall because I wasn't feeling connected. And what I didn't realize that the pathway into that connection was through my connection into my own emotions and into my own heart. And once I began to discover that and unravel some of that density that had built in my own energy field, then those connections started to come really easily and fast and furious for me. And it was through studying the modality of body talk that it really opened up for me. But along that pathway, about midway, when I was at work, I just had this sort of crisis moment where I said, I just can't do this anymore. I can't do sales in biotech anymore. It's just not me anymore. I just feel like I'm a total fraud. I just can't do this. So luckily, my husband was really great about it. And he said, well, then stop working and that'll be great. You can spend more time with the kids. And, at that time he wasn't thinking I would go off and spend a lot of time on my psychic hobby, quote unquote, but
your psychic hobby.
Yeah, because at first, everyone in my family thought it was just so weird, right? We were just we didn't even have a religious background. You know, we're all atheists. And so for me to start doing this kind of stuff really scared them a little bit. They thought, like, oh my God, is she joining a cult? What is she doing? And so it took me a while, just a lot of like really slow introduction of the information, and from my point of view, and which is more from a grounded place of merging science and spirituality together. That's where I always felt the most comfortable, and certainly for my family, that's where they felt really comfortable as well. And so that's how I was able to make that transition, kind of always keeping one foot grounded in this space and in the world of science, because science and spirituality really are the same at the core. It's just only our perception that we think it's different, but really a lot of the concepts are very similar.
Oh, I agree. I love your grounded approach. I really do.
Thank you.
It's refreshing and beautiful. And I have to ask you, though, based on what you just shared and your background and upbringing and all of that, I love that you mentioned that you would kind of shut things down in terms of a lot of, and I don't say I love it because I love that happened to you, but because a lot of people can relate to that. A lot of people write in frequently, sharing, my heart is shut down. I don't know how to open it up. I don't know how to access my emotions or experience some of the things that you talk about on the show. So I'm grateful that you said that it was this unraveling of the density and the walls and everything that allowed you to finally connect. So when did it start happening that you started connecting with multidimensional beings who were offering, guidance and all of that in your healing sessions? When did it shift into that?
Well, it started gradually, that when I would be around other people who were very psychic, it's almost like I would get like a contact high, right? I would become more psychic when I was around them. But then when I'd be away, and I think other people probably experienced this too on their journey, that sometimes you would feel really connected and you'd do, like I would channel, and then I would be able to do it again for 3 weeks. And I thought, what the heck? Where did that go? And then it was when I was studying body talk, which is a healing modality. And body talk explores all of the consciousness and all of the energy behind disease in the body. And when I was getting certified, I had to see, I can't remember, it was about 60 people or something in a really short period of time in order to get my certification. And so I was staying in a meditative state for many hours a day, trying to get all these people under my belt. And it was because I violently, for somebody who's got a very active brain and, is easily distractible, for me, it gave my brain something to do. I'm going through the body talk protocol. But then I'm also in that very hyper theta, alpha state where I'm connected and I'm engaged and I'm focused. And in that state for several hours a day, I started to see this guide come up to the table and inform me about what was going on with the client that I was working with. And at first, of course, it was hard to trust it because I thought, I don't know if that's quite accurate. But then I would sometimes be working on a friend who was psychic, and they would say, and who's that being in the room? Or is that being always with you when you do these? And I thought, oh, my God, okay, I'm not making it up. And so also I just started to trust the information the more and more validation I got. And that's really what it was. I just kept getting that validation that the information coming through was accurate. And so I formed this deep connection with this being, and this being I call Mari. And she's very, very large. She looks about like 8 or 9 feet tall and often wearing a robe. And she has kind of a triangular head. And it wasn't until later when I was speaking with another psychic who told me that it was the mantis. I didn't even know it was the mantis. But then once that sort of uncorked, getting that information just really uncorked the information flow. And because I was connecting to this being in the Earth's dimensional field. And they started sharing with me how their whole collective has been engaged with the Earth for many, many, many thousands of years, is here in support of the Earth and humanity. They're master geneticists and healers, and they're here to support all of us, and they're here to help us to heal and to shift with the Earth and to weather everything that's going on here and to evolve into our full potential. as these amazing beings that we are of light and sound and vibration. And so she and the whole collective of Mantis, which there are many, started basically training me and really piggybacking on all of the DNA genetic information that I already had from my studies and from school, and just really opened up my idea of what's possible in the body and how to help heal. And they also brought in the technique of using sound, because they told me that sound was a really beautiful and gentle way, an effective way to very quickly shift discordant energy and DNA that was out of alignment or being misexpressed, epigenetic factors. So how to make all those shifts in the body really efficiently, she taught me that sound was the best way to do that. So that's when I started to incorporate the tones.
Wow. Okay. So is that where you came up with the vibrational genetics modality, was with the help of the Mantis beings?
Yes.
Did they support you with that? Okay.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. They did. Yeah. And we call it vibrational genetics because it literally is using this sound to vibrate your whole energy field and your DNA into health and potential.
So do you mostly focus with people and their health primarily?
Well, it's interesting. Everything is so related. Sometimes when I'm working with clients, the entire session is more of a reading, or it's more of an emotional clearing, or it's more about how their Akash, how their other alternate expressions of their soul energy are infiltrating and affecting their current life, or getting people out of fear. But yes, I'd say the majority of my clients are struggling with a different health issue or another, right? Like you said, so many of us are grappling with inflammation and fatigue and gut disorders and low immunity, or overabundant immunity, right? Like that constant inflammation in the body as a reaction and a response to this environment we live in that's full of all these chemicals that we didn't evolve with, and full of all this stress and intense episodes, whether it's in the news or whether it's even in our own home lives. Just there's a lot of pressure on people right now, and so that is all connected into how well we feel and how our body is able to respond to those outside inputs.
Well, and as we were talking about before, there's a lot going on. Do you want to talk a little bit about what's going on, environmentally, and just, a lot of things that are happening? Just give a little indication from your perspective about that. I think it would be helpful.
Yeah. Well, as you know, I talk a lot about cultivating resiliency and boosting your immunity. And the reason why I really wanted to talk about that today on the call was because we've gone through a period last spring, if you guys remember, was a really intense time. It was a time where we were really invited to release or to deal with a lot of density in our field, meaning sort of unresolved emotional stuff or things that you hadn't dealt with, or maybe different illnesses were coming up, inflammation. And so we had that, I would say, constant invitation last spring, and clearing old dense patterns all the way through the Akash. I really felt like there was a lot of that going on. And then in summer we had this nice lull. It kind of settled down. It almost felt like, to me, like we were just, don't try and get anything done because everything's just sort of grinding to a halt. But the fall feels like, and late summer, I'd say starting really end of this month into September, things feel like they're really starting to pick up and accelerate again. And when I say accelerate, it means that if you've been working towards something and you've really put a lot of energy and love and intention into it, it feels like this fall, that kind of stuff is going to start manifesting really quickly. It's all going to come to fruition, and especially towards the end of fall. But for anyone who kind of avoided dealing with the stuff that came up in the spring, or just has been avoiding some other issues that they really needed to deal with, or maybe they're not in a job that they like, but they're sort of reticent to leave. Feels like those situations are really going to come to a head and also accelerate into needing to be changed. Things that need to be changed are really going to present themselves like with, hey, this is what's happening. This is where we've got to go with this. And it's just going to feel like time is moving more rapidly. Time's going to feel like it's whisking by this fall. And as a result of all of that sort of softening up of the energy, well, the Earth's energy is really what's accelerating, increasing also. I mean, and that's why we feel all of our energy increasing, because the Earth's whole electromagnetic field is increasing in resonance and vibration as she continues to evolve. And that also increases the resonance of things like the microbes, because the microbes are a huge part of our environment and a huge part of the Earth. And they've been here the longest, right? They've been here on the planet the longest. And so because we have so many of those microbes in our body, or something like over half microbial, right, in biomass, because of that, that energy is also getting stimulated. And so that can also affect the flu season. We could have, and it feels like we're going to have a pretty intense flu season. So I really wanted to talk about boosting your immunity and creating resilience in the body and balancing yourself to your environment, so that things like stress and environmental inputs that can pull us down and cause us to have difficulty with dealing with things like pathogenic microbes don't have that effect on us during this time when things are going to be moving so rapidly. We really want to be in top form. We want to be like an athlete. We're going to go out there and we're going to run this sprint this fall. And so we want to be athletic. We want to be strong. We want to be vital. And we want to take part in it and get every morsel out of it that we can. But we can't do that if we're lying in bed sick. So we want to get ourselves in top form and healthy and vital and able to respond to our environment really rapidly and efficiently and with precision, so that we get to participate in all the good stuff.
Absolutely.
So that's really my goal.
Absolutely. So, and I'm sure everyone feels that way. So how do, I know we're going to do a transmission later on. You'll be providing a transmission that is really going to support us with this. But what other ways can you share that people can cultivate this resilience that you're talking about to meet all of these challenges ahead? Are there any tips or that you can provide?
Absolutely. Yeah, great question. So for me, it starts with basically how you're interacting and responding with your environment. The human body is this incredible, amazing electromagnetic sensing device. We are the device. We are the technology. And I don't mean that in any sort of AI type of way. I mean that you don't even need AI. You are the technology. We are so sensitive and in tune with our environment, and a lot of us don't even realize it. So you're constantly absorbing inputs from around you. It's the way that the brain and your whole emotional body perceives those inputs that has a huge impact on what kind of response is elicited. So if is it going to be the stress response, or is it going to be the, hey, I'm in productive challenge mode response? And so really neutralizing yourself to your environment is step one. And the way that I like to best do that is to do a couple of simple exercises. I always anchor into the earth by sending roots down, and we'll do that in today's transmission. I also make a habit of anchoring and dropping into my heart, because if I'm spending too much time in my brain, which I have a tendency to do, then I know my decisions are all coming from old stories and from that reel that my brain likes to play. If I'm making decisions from my heart, then I know that I'm expanding into my potential and into my soul energy. So part of neutralizing yourself to your environment is to get centered in your energy field and anchored into your body and into the earth, so that you can make decisions and perceive your world from this expansive place, and to allow more of your higher self to do the driving, because your higher self is never going to lead you astray. your brain, who's been interpreting its environment since the time you got here, might just lead you astray because it's got a lot of stories. And those stories are based on perceptions and reactions, right? And your emotions. And they get imprinted in the amygdala, and they get imprinted in the pons and the occiput of the brain. So we're operating on old information, and we don't want to do that. We want to operate on fresh, new information. We want to operate in a state of neutrality, not from an old playbook, right? So continually getting yourself out of your brain and into your heart and into your body is really important. And the other thing that happens when we have stress inputs is that a lot of us pop out of the body, and it doesn't feel safe to be in the body, or because the body's in pain, we pop out of the body. So just that very act of anchoring into your physical body and knowing that it's a safe space is a really important part of getting in tune with your environment. So once you step and drop into the heart space, and you can do this by spending, you can do it inside, but it's even better if you go outside and you get your bare feet on the earth and you start allowing the earth energy to harmonize your energy field by actually connecting with the earth and getting in contact with it. Laying down on the earth is even better. Spending time in nature is an amazing way to calm you down and get you out of that stress response. Also, then there's things we can do, like there's biochemical things that we can do. We can use supplements like GABA, gamma aminobutyric acid, to help calm us down and to help mitigate pain. So that's another thing we can do.
Yeah. There's a lot, and it sounds like the word neutralizing is important and significant here. With regard to those reactive states, instead of reacting, from the brain, that's really important. A question that came up that as you were talking was, what about the people who are sitting in their homes or in their offices right now who are in a lot of pain, and how can they shift out of that? I mean, do you work with people to where you can really shift people out of some chronic pain? I mean, can it happen rather quickly? Or tell us about your experience with that.
Yes, it can happen rather quickly because pain, the biochemical pathways of pain are related to different neurotransmitters. A lot of these neurotransmitters become upregulated from stress and from intense stress because it's part of that hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis in the body. And a lot of them get on a runaway train, and inflammation also causes pain, swelling around nerves. So we always look at the root cause of where that pain is coming from. Sometimes it is involved, getting down to brass tacks. Sometimes it involves cleansing the body, detoxifying the liver, detoxifying and rebuilding the microbiome. I spend a lot of time talking to people about how to take care of their gut, because everything goes back to the gut in the human body. And I made that comment that we're over 50% microbial, and so these microbes have a huge impact on how well our immune system works, how well our inflammation is managed in the body. And then the nervous system really plays an important role. So when I work with the guides in people's body, we're going to look at all those different neurotransmitters and see what their relative levels are and whether they need to be regulated. Do they need to be dialed down? Are there too many receptors for pain in the body, and there's specific receptors for pain? Are they lacking the neurotransmitters that mitigate pain, like anandamide and GABA, and create more peace and happiness and wellness in the body, like serotonin? So are you missing the neurotransmitters that help you to feel less pain and to be more satiated and feel well inside? And do you have a major uptick of the neurotransmitters that do just the opposite, create more pain? So yes, I do get very nitty-gritty and down to detail with specific pain and with inflammation in the body and with the microbiome. But then there's also the root cause of it all, right? Where does it come from?
Right.
Does it come from an energetic space? And what was that mitigating event, right? What was that triggering
Right.
event? So
exactly.
So it's always connected to the energy, but there's always a biochemical aftershock from whatever the energetic or emotional component was that started in the first place.
So let me ask you this. So when you're working with someone and with regard to getting to the root cause of their pain, whatever it happens to be, and we have so many people who've written in, JEILENE, who feel exhausted, who have chronic pain, who I'm just glancing in here and I see a lot of that. Are you able to, is this something that you are able to see or to know psychically, or is this something that you get support with the dimensional beings that work with you, or how does this work when you're in a session with someone? How do you get to that root cause?
Yeah, absolutely. The way I do my sessions is that I get connected with each client and we anchor the energy into the earth to create a protective field for the whole session to occur in and to harmonize their energy field. And then I step into their energy field fully, and I do so with my guides. And then depending upon what is the priority for their body to begin healing, that we just go stepwise fashion through their entire body, head to toe, and then all their energy fields to understand everything that's going on. So yes, in that way, it's like being a medical intuitive, because I'm going to go through their brain. I'm going to go through all their organs. I go through all their tissues, their nervous system, their immune system, their digestive system. I go really through everything really thoroughly. The liver, all of the organs that have an impact on how well they're doing and where the sources of their illness comes from. And so in session, we identify all those first. When I say we, I mean me and the guides I work with. And it's always my guide, Mari Mantis, is always with me. And then there can be other ascended masters or guides that show up in connection to the person I'm working with. Sometimes it's a deceased loved one. Sometimes it really can be anywhere, depending on what they need to connect with in that moment to initiate their healing as well. And so all that information comes in, past life information, everything that's sort of involved in this capsule of initiating their healing. And then once everything's identified, then they give me a set of tones that I channel from them to begin and to ameliorate what was discovered, to shift DNA elements, to shift the epigenetic factors, to work with the energy, whether it's reaching back through time and space, along different timelines and soul energy expressions. And so there's a lot of different things that happen in a session, but all of it is connected into what's happening in the here and now for that person and how it sort of branches out into all those different aspects.
I want to mention Sahara wrote in and said she said, I encourage everyone to receive the gift that JEILENE has to offer. I've had 2 sessions last year and this year, have benefited hugely from her work. She is a genuine, generous resource for those who know themselves meant to serve on the planet. So thank you, Sahara, for mentioning that.
Sahara. Yeah. Thank you.
But a lot of people have written in, they feel, from what I'm reading, kind of sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. It's kind of like the gist of what I'm reading here. So many exhausted, can't function, need to get off this cycle, I mean, do you get that a lot, that kind of feeling from people?
Yes. Well, I mean, imagine that your body is in a constant state of fighting a battle. It's constantly feeling overwhelmed by not being able to deal with everything in the environment, with all the pathogenic microbes in the body, whether it's yeast or whether it's a virus, whatever it is. And the body is, is barraged with all this stuff, and it's just exhausting. If your body was in a constant immune response all the time and a constant stress response all the time, you just don't even feel like you can get up off the couch or get out of bed. I mean, you just lose the will to do all of that. And so reconnecting to that vitality, you've really got to go in and start this whole shifting of the way your whole system is operating in this environment and receiving and perceiving the environment. It has a huge impact on the way your immune system functions, the way that the body's in constant inflammation, the way that inflammation can be more general versus very laser precise and specific. That's what we want, right? We want laser precision of the immune system. We don't necessarily want this rampant inflammation all over the body and responding to things that shouldn't be responded to, like foods, right? We become oversensitized to the different foods we eat. We can't tolerate anything anymore, partially because the stuff is laden with chemicals. But even still, why can some people tolerate it and others can't? Why can some people get a cold and it doesn't turn into the flu, while others, every time they get sick, they get that sinus infection? So what's going on in the body that we end up in that spot every time, and that we've got this rampant stuff going on? So really that's the work, right? That's that place. That's that pivot point between you and your environment and the way you're responding to everything, and learning how to neutralize that and to take away oversensitivity to foods and environmental inputs and chemicals and things like that. Because as we know, the earth, we're in this really intense time, and before the earth gets really cleaned up and we turn this ship around that we're on, it's probably not going to change for a while, right? We're going to have to learn how to be more adaptable. And adaptability is really the key, because we are in this super shifting time with all these chemicals in the environment. But if you think about it, the microbes on this planet have been here for millions of years, and they have been adapting and evolving to their situation constantly. And in fact, if you want to see some rapid mutation and evolution, you just apply a little petri dish, you apply antibiotics to a petri dish, and you watch those microbes shift and change and mutate, right? They know how to do it. They are totally in tune with feeling their environment and evolving around it to continue to survive. But here's the thing, we are over 50% microbes. So you too are this adaptability machine. And I think a lot of us forget that. We are designed to be adaptable. And a lot of us get stuck and think, oh no, this is how I am. I don't adapt. I'm just sick. But the reality is that no. You are an adaptable organism, just like every other organism. So let's turn that mechanism back on. Let's highlight that adaptability and bring that resilience back into your system through that adaptability.
I love that. Highlight your adaptability. So even the people who have been experiencing chronic pain or a lot of these patterns for years can begin to realize their adaptability and shift out of that, is what I'm hearing from you.
Yep. Absolutely.
Lynn wrote in, and she wrote in a couple times, that she said, can you comment on the waves of energy coming in that spontaneously create intense energy in our heads, our brains, our eyes? Should we just ride these waves? She said, I've been told that we're being rewired just to go with it. What do you say to that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would say, so this is a great example of how to be present in your environment without it creating that stress response in the body and ratcheting up your nervous system response. So when those intense waves of energy come in, it's really imperative that instead of allowing those intense energy waves to elicit fear, and the kind of response that puts you into that cascade of stress response hormones and neurotransmitters, that instead you take a seat back and you really engage in your environment and consciously observe it. So consciously observing your environment, this is something that Eckhart Tolle talks a lot about, means that you almost see yourself from outside of yourself. You allow yourself to engage in the world and you're very present moment focused, but you don't take anything personally, right? You don't assign value to the things that are happening around you. It doesn't mean you're putting your head in the sand. It means you're very present and engaged, but you don't assign value to the things that are happening around you. And so as that energy flows through you, yes, you do allow it to just ride through you. But I like to always give it a place to go. I like to always anchor into the earth. And as I feel big waves of energy flow through me, I just let it flow right through. I'm like an open window and right into the earth. And I always send it with love, and I always connect into the earth and show her love and gratitude so that it's not like I'm just using her as a toxic waste dump, right? But I'm connecting into her, and I'm sending her lots of love and gratitude every day as well. But she's a tremendous transducer of energy and transmuter. So I always give it a place to go. I always imagine myself like an open window. It's just going to flow through. It doesn't get stuck because there's no fear. There's no attachment to what it's going to do to me. It's just, hey, it's just everything's energy. We're all energy. We're all vibrating. Every atom is vibrating with energy of source. Mm-hmm. And so it's just another form of energy. If it's low vibrational, if it's high vibrational, it's just energy. It's just flowing through you. Just let it flow through. It doesn't
so it doesn't
you have to
stop
get all connected in.
And linger longer.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
But, Lynn had also said that, who was asking about writing these ways, she said, so grateful for your messages. She said, I agree, because I recently recovered from shingles that came out of the blue. Took over like a rampant tornado, but it left quickly and painlessly because I knew my body was releasing some old blockages. So I just rolled with it, and in weeks it was gone. She said it was like a miraculous blessing. So like you're saying, these things can kind of ride through us without staying or without becoming a permanent or seemingly permanent aspect of what we're going through. She did say, do you have any mantras or affirmations when circumstances arise or illnesses arise? Or does that even factor into this for you, doing something like that?
You know what I like? What I like about that, I actually personally use toning. But a mantra is also a toning because you're holding an elongated vowel sound, and that's all toning really is. And so anything that feels good to you, whether it's, Om Mani Padme Hum or Om, whatever your mantra is, or if you want to say something more affirmative like, I am an open window, I am connected to the earth, I am vital, I am healthy, I am vibrating in resonance with source. I mean, whatever it is, but when you hold the elongated vowel, then you start toning your vagus nerve in your body. And that's what toning does. Sound tones the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is a really important nerve in the body because it is connected to all of our organs and to our gut. And that's how all of those stress and pain neurotransmitters flow through the body. And cause either, and the happy hormones too, I should say, and all the good ones, all the bliss hormones. So all that stuff's flowing through the body via that vagus nerve. So when you're putting an input of love and toning and high vibration into that vagus nerve, then the whole body just vibrates in unison with it, and it starts to lower those stress hormones. It starts to bring you into a state of presence and peace. And so, mantras are great. Any kind of sound you want to make with elongated vowels, I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, me too. Is that part of what you're going to be sharing with us in the transmission, is the toning?
Yeah, absolutely. I was connecting with my guides before the call, and they really wanted to bring in a toning to really work with all of the chakras of the body and the whole chi system through the meridians. Just to open and cleanse and clear all of the chakras and to give everybody a really good, clean slate to help all the systems of the body I've been talking about, the nervous system, the immune system, the digestive system, to anchor all of those into that really beautiful, clean, high vibrational energy of all of our energy centers, connecting you really through the heart and through your solar plexus to the truth of your being and to your soul energy, opening up your third eye and your crown chakra, and anchoring the lower chakras down into the earth, just so that we're balanced, we're anchored into that beautiful energy of the earth and the healing, and we're open to receive from a place of clean and clear perception.
Beautiful, and we're gonna do that in just a little bit. But Elaine wrote in with a good question. She said, "Which earth should we be grounding into? Do you have a recommendation?" I'm guessing that she means 5D Earth, or does it matter? What is your recommendation on that?
So, from my perspective, Earth is Earth. Earth's energy is Earth's energy. Earth's energy and dimensional fields are going to be, of all varieties and all shades and colors and vibrations. So when we talk about 3D versus 4D versus 5D, to me, all different dimensional fields are available at any given time, and the Earth is this beautiful, energetic and physical being who is emanating all of that energy and is connected. To me, energy fields are like atoms, where, you know, electrons are moving in and out of different fields and different shells. We used to call them shells, and we used to think that electrons were stuck in different shells, but now we know that they're humming and buzzing around the nucleus of the atom. And that's really how I see dimensional fields as well. It's not like like I'm going through a membrane and I'm in the next one, and that's not how it feels at all to me. It feels like it's all fluid and intermingled and intermixed, and the way you vibrate is going to be the way you connect into different dimensional fields, right? It's whatever you resonate and match with. And so when you resonate and match into Earth's higher dimensional fields because you're connecting to her in that state with that intention, then that's what you're going to connect to. But to me, Earth is Earth, and her beautiful energy is always vibrating in a beautiful, high dimensional way.
Thank you. Elaine, I hope that you heard that. Let's see. Kim wrote in, and she said she was in your workshop at the Awaken and Empowered Expo last year, and she said, my friends and I love your work. She said, what does it take to heal my thyroid?
Yeah, thyroids are very related to, well, everything's related to everything else. But when the pituitary gets out of whack because of what's going on with the hypothalamus and, you know, backing it up even further, what's going on in the brain, a lot of times connected into the stress response, a lot of times coming from dysregulation of our hormone balances, from either inflammation or toxins in our environment. So cleaning up the thyroid really starts, in my opinion, with cleaning up the rest of the body, cleaning up the gut, cleaning up the liver, and re-engaging ourselves back into working with our environment from a really neutral space. And so we clean up the body, we clean up our energy fields, we clean up our perception of our energy fields and our environment. And then we start to see the systems of the body start to self-regulate back into health again. So there is always a process of cleaning things up before we start bringing in the things that nurture. So we clean up first, and then we bring in the nutritive substances, and then we, but all along the way, working with the energy to shift those biochemical factors as well. And when I say that, I mean through the energy work. So it's really this combination of events and different strategies for taking care of thyroid.
Thank you for that. What is your response to a few people wrote in that are, it seems like they're feeling quite desperate when it comes to financial matters. And someone even asked about clearing for trauma and poverty consciousness. I think that elicits a lot of fear in people. And from what I'm reading, there are quite a few people in here that feel fearful regarding this. What is your take on all of that, and how does your work support someone with that kind of challenge?
Yeah, that's really tough because for many of us, because what we are in vibrational accord to, we tend to draw towards us, which everybody knows, and it goes really beyond the power of attraction in my mind. It really is a simple energetic matter in that when we are focused on the lack and we're focused on the lack of abundance. And I feel, though, that saying that to someone will be like, my God, I've been focused on trying to initiate and expand abundance in my life for a long time. But again, to me, what is going on, though, is that oftentimes we are still resonating because of old energy patterns in our field to historical lack and historical times of fear around annihilation, or fear around not making it, fear around being destitute and poor and starving. And there's all kinds of ways that this shows up in the physical body, and all kinds of ways it shows up in our personal lives and emotionally as well. And so there's no one simple answer for any one person, but it's always related. Generally, what I see is to other concurrent lifetime soul energy expressions and that those, and as well, I'll just add one thing, and always also the way we're connecting into the collective. So this is another thing about our environment, is that there's so much going on in the collective right now, and there's so many of us who are empathic, who feel the energies and the fear of the collective. And sometimes it feels hard and overwhelming to rise above that and to not be so affected by what's going on with the collective and all this stress. And, you know, we've got shootings and we've got fires in the Amazon. We've got all this stuff going on. And how do we nurture and be compassionate while at the same time rise above it so that we can still be effective human beings and not get overwhelmed by it when we're empathic? So that's a lot of the work, too, because sometimes we get mired down in our inability to be abundant because we are so overwhelmed by the energy around us. So I know I sound like a broken record, but it really does have a lot to do with the way you're perceiving your environment and the resistance you're holding to the things in your environment. Because when you hold yourself in resistance, you can't create and you can't have abundance and flow because you're shutting some part of you down. And you can feel it in the body. You'll restrict, you'll constrict. You feel your chest get tight when you're in certain situations. You feel that fear come in, or you feel that restriction come in. And so it's about identifying those things, traveling down to the root of where that fear comes from, whether it's another soul expression or whether it's from this lifetime, clearing, neutralizing that energy, allowing it to flow through and be recognized and released, and then moving on. Mm-hmm. So no simple answer,
yes.
but
no, that was beautiful, though, and I appreciate you addressing that. And just because a few people wrote in about that, and I think it's something that a lot of people are challenged by. I'm just trying to run through a lot of these questions because I think they can help people. Some people can resonate with some questions more than others. So I'm going to go to Daniel's question from Quebec, and he said, what does it take to heal eye retina damage? What can you say about that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So specifically, eye retina damage is going to have to do with maybe some tissue damage there. It could be a microbial imbalance because your eyes have a whole different microbiome field in them. It could be any number of things. It could be from inflammation. It could be from a past virus. So there's all kinds of different things that could have caused that. It could be genetic, right? It could be from latent expressed genes in the body. So really I'd have to dive in and check in with Daniel and see. Let me just check in with him really quick and see what I'm feeling on it, just for fun.
Okay. And Daniel is in Quebec. Daniel, I hope you're still with us and listening.
Great. Just in Canada. Daniel, it feels structural to me, and so it doesn't feel genetic. It feels structural, like a shift in the way that the muscles are functioning in your eye, and so strengthening the muscles of the eye look like it would be helpful, and sending energy. One thing that the guides are bringing up to me is that I use pulsed electromagnetic field therapy a lot with clients and with myself and my family. I have a mat that I use. This type of structural change would be well suited to PEMF therapy. So literally using a mat, laying your eyes on the mat. As well as this one doesn't feel like, it just feels almost like pure structural shift. Not with a huge energetic component behind it, but more of not acquired, but inherited inherited structural changes to your eye over time, familial handed down to you through the family. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So I would suggest eye exercises and PEMF therapy for that.
Beautiful. I hope you heard that. Okay. I'm feeling guided to take a couple of live questions, too. I've taken a lot from the webcast. JEILENE, are you open to that?
Sure, yeah. I'd love
Okay.
to talk to everybody.
Okay. A lot of you have your hands up already, and many more just went up. It's *2, by the way, if you've called in to raise your hand. And I am going to, here we go, going to area code 724. 724, you're live.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
Oh, thank you. I just was listening, and I just feel really exhausted from my new career change. I was trying to find something that was more in line with my soul purpose, and I feel like I'm being more stressed and just overwhelmed with the whole situation that's going on, trying to do my certification, and I have a trip planned to France in September. So I was hoping.
What is your name, sweetie?
I'm sorry, Gloria.
Gloria, okay.
Okay.
JEILENE, did you get enough information from her to...
Yeah, sure, Gloria. So, Gloria, when we shift and step out of structure, which is, did you come from more of a corporate environment or more of a sort of like an institutional environment where you had that paycheck that you could rely on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when we let that go, it's really intense because it connects us into other times in our soul energy when we have not had connection into a net or a structure that we feel takes care of us. And letting go of that net and that structure can be really daunting, especially on the nervous system. And so when the nervous system is stressed like that, you get a big uptick in cortisol and norepinephrine and epinephrine, and it's just exhausting for the body because it's, for you especially, it's epinephrine, also known as adrenaline, because as that adrenaline courses through your blood, it's basically got everything on red alert. It's like you're running on 5 cups of coffee, but you haven't had any coffee. It's like go, 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 go. Do, and it's hard to just relax into be, and everyone says, oh, you got to just be. And you're like, I can't be right now because all I can think about is how stressed I am. So it's really, really kind of tough to get out of that cycle until you can sort of break the chain and you can start to, again, here I go again, neutralize yourself to the fear that being let go of and really understanding where that fear comes from for you. So lots of times we're connecting into soul energy, and that's certainly what it feels like to you. It feels like not only soul energy of not having enough to eat, but it feels like everything was lost, like no family, no husband, no one to take care of you. You're out on a limb in the breeze, right? Like there's nothing there, and the floor drops out, like not even God's there for you. It feels like, hey, I'm out here, I'm trying to do this, and I got no support. So it's really coming back into reeling yourself back into your center, back into your physical body, spending time in that place, and spending time connecting with the truth of your being, that when you're resonating with that fear, you're just going to draw more of that fear and that biochemical fear response in your body and continue to exhaust yourself. But when you step back into your heart center, then you can start letting go of that fear and start understanding the truth of your being through the meditation and through connection to your solar plexus, understanding that you are this dynamic, amazing, beautiful reflection and emanation of source energy, and that you came here to play in this beautiful energy field of the earth, to be part of that energy field, to experience everything that's here. It's an absolute playground. And so let go of that fear of what it's going to be like here if you don't have enough money, because that money is not the solution. The solution is for you to vibrate in your truth, and it's to vibrate and remember who you are, so that when you're interacting with people and you're setting things up and you're getting certified, you're in that place of vibration and flow with your truth, because everybody around you feels that. They feel it, they're going to want to work with you. They feel it, they're going to want to talk to you. It's going to open up new doors for you. It's going to create new opportunities. And when the synchronicities and the opportunities flow, because you're in that place of compassion for yourself and love and reflection of truth and resonance with it, then you're unstoppable. And the whole world starts to open up, and you can let go of that need to resist and to respond to the inputs of your environment in the way that you have been.
Mm-hmm. Gloria, does that resonate?
Yeah. I'm just, when I try to meditate lately, it's just like I get there, I ground, and I sink into my heart, and then my head starts going into a million different directions because I've got too many things I'm trying to focus on at one time.
Yeah, exactly. I would also recommend that you try toning, or you can listen to, I've got a free set of tones on my website, that you listen to something that helps you to visualize. When you meditate, don't just sit and meditate, but use a visualization. It gives your brain something to do while the rest of you can calm down and get centered. And so if you do a visualization, you listen to it. I have some that are accessible, other transmissions I have up on YouTube, or listen to your favorite one, or do the toning yourself, because the toning helps you to get really present, and it helps you to start to upregulate those peace and calm hormones and neurotransmitters in the body. Or you can also try using GABA supplements, because those are really good at helping to calm the nervous system and support you. I always recommend you've got to start with the gut as well, and you've got to fortify your microbiome. You've got to eat right for it. You've got to feed it. And it's like you've got, trillions of pets in your body, and you've got to feed them the right food, and they're not going to be happy, right? They're not going to perform for you, because those microbes are the ones that, they produce all the GABA. They produce the serotonin. 95% of it is produced in your gut. So make sure they're happy and balanced, and you're eating the right foods, and you're keeping yourself clean and clear. That way, don't make it harder on yourself than it has to be. And then when you do your meditations, try using some visualizations and some vibrational toning, and see how that shifts the energy for you.
Yeah. Try that out, Gloria. And maybe the transmission today will be of benefit to you as well. I would hope so. So stick with us for that, okay?
So, yeah, I will. Thank you very much.
Okay, blessings to you, Gloria. All right.
Thanks for calling, Gloria.
Okay, I'm going to take one more. We have a lot of hands up. Okay, I'm going to go to area code 920. 920, you're live.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
Hi.
This is Linda.
Hi, Linda. How are you?
Hi, Linda.
Oh, I'm fine, Carrie. I just am so excited just to be on the show again. I love it when you call on me. I'm so happy.
Good. Good.
So,
it's nice to hear from you.
I have a granddaughter who is never full. It's like she doesn't have a stop valve with her body. It's like the brain does not signal that she ever is full. But she has a problem. She is a great empath, and she does have a lot of emotional upset, which I'm not going to talk about it right now, but it's a lot of emotion, and I know a lot of this is emotional eating, but it doesn't matter. I'm worried for her because she seems to be getting heavier, and the stop just never goes. What can we do for something like that?
So it's stepping into her energy field through you as a surrogate, it feels like she's got some hormones that are not, so there's different hormones in the stomach and in the brain that regulate satiation and hunger. And basically what her body has done is, because of her emotional response to the energy around her and feeling other people's emotions, she's trying to mitigate and to manage the intensity of other people's emotions around her, because she's feeling everything so intensely. She's trying to self-soothe with food, because when we eat, and especially if we eat something sort of with like a sugar uptick or something that really gives us sort of like a zing in the brain, spikes our blood sugar, it's almost like it gives you this feeling of like, oh, okay, there, that feels better. And I know this because sometimes after working all day, I'll be like, I want a piece of chocolate. It's like, I want that. And then I'll have to remind myself, oh, right, this is just me responding to all that energy I just experienced. And then if I do a little meditation and just connect into the earth, I can balance my energy field again. So for your, is it your granddaughter, you said?
Yes. She lives in Arizona, so she's far away from me.
And that, of course, doesn't matter, right, because you're all connected energetically. But for her, it's really about the way that she's taking on other people's energy and the way she's afraid of other people's energy. So she's in this state of resistance and sort of recoil from other people's energy because it feels overwhelming to her. And what she wants to learn how to do is to, instead of recoiling and being in resistance and holding on to other people's energy because she doesn't really feel like she has a choice, we tend to, when we hold on to a lot of energy, we also tend to hold on to our food and to calories. We don't want to digest the energy around us. We're like, oh, it's too much. I don't want to deal, but it still seeps in because we don't have a good way of keeping that from happening because we're empaths. And so you end up with holding as a container all this energy around you. And then, of course, she's got the people that she really cares about near and dear to her, like her mom, and she's trying to hold space for mom and trying to hold energy. And so in that process of doing that,
you got that right. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, she's holding on to everything. She doesn't want to let go of any, right? So then she's holding on to the food. So the body is in the state of not wanting to digest anything. So instead, she's got to get into a state of free flow of that energy, letting it flow through her and letting the food flow through her. And then I would specifically adjust her hunger hormones like ghrelin and, orexin. And there's a lot of specific hormones that are involved in the brain and the hypothalamus as well as in the stomach. Leptin, understanding when we've got, enough fat stores and when it's time to start burning them and when it's time to stop eating, controlling the stomach. And for the stomach as it stretches, knowing like, oh, okay, now it's the off switch time. But we don't have that when she's in that state and her body is shutting those neurotransmitters down because she's just in this sort of frozen state of not digesting anything.
So do you recommend any kind of supplement or something that would be really helpful for her for this?
No.
My daughter lives near a real good, No,
not supplements. It's really about her shifting the way that she's holding on to everyone else's energy around her. That's the main thing. So she's got to get her whole system moving. Literally, she's got to move herself. She's got to start exercising and walking more and moving energy. She's got to get outside. She's got to get in nature. She's got to engage in her environment. She's got to recognize that everything around her can just flow through. She doesn't have to absorb it. She's not a sponge. She's a window. You got to let her know that. She's not a sponge. She's a window. And just let it flow through her. And then the food will start flowing through too. I mean, if she's becoming sensitive to different foods, then she might need a digestive enzyme or something like that. But really, at her age, she shouldn't need it. She should be able to mitigate this through shifting the way she's holding on to energy and through getting more exercise.
Beautiful.
And exercise isn't always the solution, by the way. It just happens to be for her because she's got to get her lymph system moving. She's got to get her digestive system moving. She just feels like she's shutting down and she's in resistance. And so that's why I'm recommending exercise.
Okay.
Would it also help to release the inflammation in the brain? Because I think she's got some there. I'm not positive. Do you see that?
I do see that she's got some toxic buildup in her liver, which then does create the inflammation in the brain. But what's going on in the brain is more minimal compared to what's going on in her liver. She's getting, an overflow of adipose or fat tissue in the liver and toxins from some of the unhealthy foods she's eating. And so really what she's got to do, like I said, start moving the digestion, start moving the body, start cleaning up with good, healthy, high vibrational food. And at her age, she can mitigate all this just through healthy eating and movement. She doesn't have to go into the whole supplementation. It's always helpful to do liver supportive herbs and teas and things like that. Like she could do a gentle detox with her liver, but this isn't really the time of year to do a liver cleanse. So I would just recommend really good high vibrational healthy food and movement.
Okay, thank you. And I'm so sorry to take up all your time. Thank you very much.
I think this was helpful for everybody.
Thank you very much for taking me. I love you.
You're welcome. Love you too, Linda.
My pleasure.
And remember to tell her she's not a sponge, she's a window.
I will. I'm going to write that down. Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye, Linda.
And have a wonderful day. Bye, honey.
Linda, can I tell you one thing? Tell your daughter to anchor into the earth and give that energy somewhere to go. Give that energy somewhere to go. Tell her to anchor into the earth.
Okay.
It's like we all forget to do that. Okay. Bye-bye.
I will. Okay. Thank you very much.
Bye, Linda.
Bye.
Okay, I think bye. I think that was helpful for a lot of people because people were writing in about similar digestive issues. And I thought that was really profound what you said about you're not a sponge, because so many of us here are empaths. We're not a sponge. We don't have to just take in and everything, that we can be a window. I thought that was pretty profound. I liked that a lot. That was really good.
You know what? I think it's like a news flash to a lot of us empaths, but guess what? It's not your job to hold other people's energy. It is not your job. It is your job to experience them, and yes, you can hold space for them. You can hold space for someone and help heal them with your energy without absorbing their energy. It's a difference, right? You can still be super helpful and still hold the container for them, but you don't have to do it in a way that alters your own energy field.
Right. I had never thought about it the way that you explained that about her granddaughter, though, about how holding on to everything, and that means you're not even digesting anything, which means you gain weight. And I had never looked at it from that perspective, so that was really enlightening for me. Thank you.
Yeah, I see that a lot.
Yes, so I want to let people know, because we have so many people who've written in and hands up who are interested in taking this further with you and perhaps working with you, because there are a lot of very personalized questions, JEILENE, in the webcast that people are bringing up. So for those of you who may be new to the show, or if you're not, all of our speakers create these beautiful special offers where you can work with them at a reduced price point just for this community. JEILENE has created an offer. It's at straighttalkforthesoul.com in our marketplace. And I know we can only do so much on these shows, but hopefully this has just raise your awareness in some way. And so, JEILENE, your offer is beautiful. It includes a private session with you, which is the best part of this. But also, you've included recorded tones to help balance their physical, mental, and emotional bodies, and brain balancing tones, and a 2-month membership to your Light Vibes network. What else would you like to share about this offer, and for those who might be considering it?
Yeah. First of all, the tones that I created specifically for this time. They're really fresh. I just made them. And they're coming in a reflection to the current energies on the planet and the things that we're going to be experiencing over the next several months. And so one of them is stress reduction, and we all know there's lots of stuff going on right now. And so stress reduction has everything to do with the way you're responding to that environment and the way those triggers, because what can happen is even if you experience something that was stressful a year ago or 2 years ago or last week, the brain can get stuck in the on switch. So like that adrenaline or that cortisol can keep flowing even though the event is over and you're trying to meditate and engage in life in a different way. So it's a way of working with all of that neurobiology and all those endocrine system of the body to help balance that and to relieve some of those responses. And then there's also tone specific for boosting your immune system. And this is really designed to help you to be resilient and adaptable to the winter months, especially when we're probably going to have a pretty intense flu season. So I wouldn't call it, absolute flu shot. Like if you're a proponent of flu shots, you can still get one. But I do feel like this is your energetic flu shot. This is your way of helping your body to really bring precision and fine-tuning into your responses. So we're talking about working with specific cells of the immune system. And then the balancing yourself to your energy field is really about bringing yourself into harmony, which I keep talking about. And then I added a longer than usual energy healing session for people in this offer because I find that it's really much more helpful to do more of a deep dive with people and to really give us time to work together, and so I can be super thorough on going all the way down to that molecular DNA level to see what needs to be shifted, to explore all the energy behind it, and then to offer a unique set of tones for each person to address those specific molecular needs and energetic needs. And then item 3 is this subscription to my Light Vibes network, which I started earlier this year, late winter, early spring. And every month, my guides bring in new information. They bring in a channeled message. They bring in written materials, and we do a live webcast. And so when you sign up, you get a 2-month subscription to that. And you get to download all of the tones that I've posted there for free, and you get to access all those written materials and all that information that I've been posting each month on a different topic each month to really support you in your continued development and evolution, and also in your wellness, because there's lots of different tones there that are specific for everything from protection of energy fields and biochemical protection to managing the way you're integrating and interacting with your environment, to stress, to resilience, and all of the above. And so resonating with your true self, we had a month of that. I mean, there's been all kinds of neat information the guys have brought in. So that's all there.
A lot of supplemental info. And I want to highlight that we have upgraded the time. I know it still says we're going to change this to your healing session. The private session is an hour. So
yes.
It doesn't say that on there yet, but we had decided we're going to change that. So it is an hour long with JEILENE in your private session. And I just want to highlight something that you had said earlier, where you go in there with your guides, you scan the physical body, the energy field, the energetic field for just realignment. And also you go into clearing influences from other lifetimes, other physical factors, genetic, etc. You do all kinds of things you go on. I also want to mention that you give them suggestions with regard to exercise, specific foods, herbs, supplements that they could incorporate to support everything else that they're doing. So it's an amazing thing. You and I had a session, I'm trying to remember what it was. It's like February or March. It was incredible. It was so... I don't have the words. There's so much information that you access and share on so many levels. And so for those of you who are feeling called to this, I hope that you will say yes to this opportunity. So JEILENE, thank you for creating that beautiful offer. And now Now it's fun time. Oh, this has been fun the whole time. Now we're going to have some fun. So you're going to to offer a transmission here, and you mentioned a little bit earlier about what it was going to be about. But for those who maybe that joined late or something, what are we doing here together?
Yeah. So, right, when I was connecting with my guides before the call, they really wanted to bring in energy up. They called it the Earth Rising meditation, and they really wanted to bring energy up through the earth and through all of our chakras to bring us into alignment and to cleanse and clear all of the chakras, because when we've got discordant or dense information that's sort of cluttering up the chakras, because of our environment and because of the stressors around us, it's really tough to get yourself into a good, clean, and clear, perceptive state. So they really wanted to use that beautiful earth energy to open up and to clean and clear all the chakras, and we'll also work with the meridian system to give your whole chi, your energy, a boost. So for those of you who are feeling fatigued and having a difficult time getting that energy boost, it's also going to bring in energy up through your crown chakra to boost and work with your whole meridian system to bring in more energy. And that is working with some of the interdimensional guides that I work with of more cosmic origin. The Arcturians always bring in that energy boost from above. So typically mantis from below, Arcturians from above, and any work we do in the brain is with a group that I call the Divinians. We're actually going to be working with a lot of different groups on this transmission. I'm also working a lot with Kuan Yin in the heart and helping to resonate with your truth is through the solar plexus with the angelic realm. So all these different guides and mentors come in to help with this transmission, and so it's a really collective effort. And you can just sit back and relax and enjoy and receive and just allow yourself the permission to really open up and let go of things that are putting you in resistance and inhibiting you from your true potential.
Beautiful. Okay, let's do this. Thank you in advance. Okay, JEILENE, I'll let you take over.
Okay. So make sure you're in a nice, comfortable place. And let's start by taking some nice, deep breaths. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And as you breathe, feel yourself start to connect with your body. Feel your energy drop into your whole physical body, knowing it's a safe place to be. Remembering that you came here to be a physical being. And that any sensations in your body are allowed, they're okay. You can just observe, but let go of any attachment to what they mean. Breathe into the body. As you exhale, let go of anything, stresses, anything that keeps you from this present moment. Not important right now. As you breathe, start to see roots flowing downward from your body, down through the floor and into the earth below you. These roots, as they meet the earth, they travel and spread out in all directions and begin traveling downward through the many layers of the earth. They move past the roots of the trees and the plants. They move through the layers of soil and sand, moving through the layers of rock and bedrock, sediment, layer upon layer of life upon the earth that once was at the surface, all with its own energy. And your roots experience all of this and move through it, absorbing the energy of the earth because of its wonderful healing power and balancing power. Those roots flow rapidly through all of these layers, moving down towards the center. And you may see a glowing golden orb or river of light. It may look different for some of you, but that's not important. What's important is that you are moving towards this beautiful golden glow of the earth at the center, and your roots anchor into this golden light and connect with the earth deeply. And we send her so much gratitude and thanks and love for always providing us a safe, wonderful, beautiful space to live and grow upon, to experience this amazing energetic realm. She feels that connection, receives your gratitude, and opens up a line of communication between you and the earth, allowing you to receive her beautiful healing in golden light. And as you breathe, that light begins to flow upwards with each inhale. It moves rapidly up your roots and flows towards your body. And today, this light is going to move through each one of our chakras, setting the playing field for a transmission of tones and light to come through to balance your system, to bring you into peace and wellness, connectivity with your truth, and all of your potential for healing. When the energy of the earth gets to your body, you may invite it in, and it flows upwards. First, it's going to flow upwards through all of your skin and tissues and muscles and bones and blood. And it's going to move all the way up to the tippy top of your body, all the way to the head, down through the arms, so that your whole being is filled with this light. And then we're going to go through each of your chakras to open and cleanse and clear, using the tones for each one. First stop is the lower three chakras that anchor you into the earth below your root chakra, as well as the root chakra. This collection of 4 chakras which anchors you into your stability, into your knowing of yourself as a physical being in this beautiful, energetic earth environment, as a player in the cosmos, who is also a player on the earth, who is simultaneously here and multidimensional, all at the same time. Anchoring firmly into this reality is helpful in creating the platform for all of your multidimensional experiences to occur in a balanced and safe way. This is the first place to spend time and energy to balance, to clean and to clear. So your connection to earth is open and is clean. Take a nice deep breath in. sacral chakra. Your connection to your ancestral energies, to your digestive system, to your creative flow, to the energy that springs forth from your space of creation into being, into manifestation, where all that beauty of what makes you you flows through in creativity and into form. Energy rising up into our solar plexus chakra now, connecting into that angelic realm that reminds you about the truth of your being. You are this beautiful, dynamic expression of your oversoul energy, and that energy is one with divine, one with source, one with God. You are a direct emanation and expression of this energy, and that as that flows through you in preeminence to all else, it helps to direct the flow and the path of your life in congruence and in harmony with the truth of your being. This immediately lines you into connection with your purpose here as this beautiful reflection of Source come into form through energy and vibration. Energy rising up to the heart chakra. And we bring in Kuan Yin's energy of deep compassion to ease all suffering. The deep compassion first for yourself, the compassion to know that you are here to experience the collective yes through the lens of your own experience, through the understanding of your soul in all of its beauty and all of its magnificence. And that through the heart, we open up those codes of DNA deep within the still point of our heart that allow us to experience compassion for ourselves and others and deep, deep joy. In the depths of that compassion, we refind our joy. We reconnect to our joy. and our wonderment for this beautiful sacred space that we live upon and in. Energy rising to the throat chakra, bringing us into expressing ourselves from that place of truth and deep compassion, creativity, and connection to earth, so that all may be expressed from that divine flow. Speaking your truth, resonating with the fact that you matter, that what you have to say matters, that it's important, and that its time is now to be heard. Energy rising, the third eye, that chakra that engages our pineal, connects to it, that place that is that space between us as spirit and us as physical. Our ability to connect into being both a physical and multidimensional being simultaneously, to allow that free flow of that information and to allow that to flow through our brain in a way that helps inform us of all of the beauty and the magic, letting go of the fear, knowing that we transcend all through the remembrance of the beauty and magic, and knowing that that's the truth of our being. It's not these experiences we have now that create fear. It's the expansion. It's the harmonization with the energy fields around us. It's the way that information is interpreted through the brain. Moving into the crown chakra, we merge in a beautiful beam of white blue light from above us to flow through the crown and through our entire meridian system, lighting up, engaging us with our cosmic lineage, engaging us with the energy around us, allowing it to be perceived and be an influence of growth and an influence of vitality, to take from our environment the energy that we need to stay vital, stay engaged, stay energized. Please take several nice deep breaths and allow all that energy to flow through you, remembering to keep it anchored into the earth. Allowing anything to release through your body simply and easily down to those roots that's ready to leave, ready to be released. Bringing your whole system into balance and harmonious flow with the earth and the energy around you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, beautiful. That was one to listen to again. I hope everybody's feeling more in the flow, as hopefully you let go a lot of the resistance that perhaps you were feeling before that. So, JEILENE, thank you. It has been not only
my pleasure,
an informative call, a lot of information that was beautiful, but an energetically supportive show as well. And I'm so grateful that you were here, my dear. From what I'm reading in our webcast, people have really resonated with what you shared, and it's really important, the work that you're doing. And so much love to you, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you, Carrie, for creating this platform, and for all of you for connecting in. The energy comes through based on everyone connecting in, so I really appreciate everyone's connecting and engagement. That really makes it all work.
A co-creation for sure. So the participation of all of us here matters. So thank you all for being here. And I hope you'll come back, JEILENE. It was a beautiful, beautiful sharing, and I hope you enjoyed yourself.
Thank you. I would love to come back, and I did. I love what you do, Carrie. I love your show, and so I'd love to be honored to anytime.
Well, we will arrange that. So, JEILENE, thank you, and to everybody who's joined us. We have reached the end of our time together with Vibrational geneticist JEILENE TRACEY. I want to thank all of you for the gift of your participation, your time, your love, and your presence, and your openness today. Please write in. Let us know how you're feeling, what stood out for you today, perhaps what's shifted for you. We appreciate hearing from you, and trust that as you become present to a lot of the information that was shared here and what took place during the transmission, that blessings are on their way. They are here and available to you. Just open up and receive. And if the information and everything shared here today resonated, I really encourage you to give yourself the gift of saying yes to the opportunity to have a private session with JEILENE and experience that for yourself. And let me know how it went. I'm certain that you will benefit from it. Okay, my friends, thank you for joining us on another soulful adventure today. I am sending waves and waves of love and light and appreciation from my heart to yours. May you feel it, receive it, offer it to those you encounter today or tonight, wherever you happen to be in the world. And as always, until next time, please give yourself full permission to shine instead of shrink, express instead of suppress, and own that amazing, powerful glow of yours. I'll see you back here in this playground of light again tomorrow. Bye, everybody.